Assalamu alaikum, marhaba, hola, and konnichiwa. Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing a walkthrough of the IELTS academic reading exam. So this is the computer delivered version. So as you can see, it starts off by asking me for my general information, name, candidate number, that sort of thing. When that is done, details are correct, you click enter. The reading exam is the second exam on test day, so put that in mind. Now here we have the instructions which are given. IELTS academic reading, the time is 1 hour to answer 40 questions. You have to answer all of the questions, and of course you can change your answer anytime you want during the exam. Now I'm not going to go through the entire exam. In this video I'm only going to go through the reading passage 1, and specifically the first task, which is whatever we're going to see right now. So there are 40 questions in this test. Each question carries 1 mark. The test clock will show you when there are 10 and 5 minutes remaining. The test is going to be straightforward. You know what I mean? Let me show you what it looks like here. You notice that up here it's a timer. 60 minutes left. It's going to be counting down, not counting up. The exam looks like this, or this is the actual exam. On the left-hand side, you have the passage. Okay, and on the right hand side you have your questions. Our first task here is a true false not given, so which is called identifying information in the IELTS, so we're going to be going through that. It says here that there's 6 questions, 1 to 6. If we click on them, they expand basically to give us the options of true false not given. We answer by clicking inside one of these 3. In the paper based, you're going to have to write it in an answer sheet. There are 3 passages here. I'm not going to go through all 3. Not in this video anyways. But yeah, in my future videos, they will be there. So how do we do this? What is the technique for this? We always start off by reading the questions. I show people how to do this in my IELTS preparation course, which you should join if you're interested in taking the IELTS exam. So the first technique here is to read the question, think about it. How can it be false? How can it be true? How can it be not given? So it says here, America copied the idea of national parks from other countries. So we get that in our minds. How can it be false? Think about it that way. What would they have to change or say to make it false? Well, in this case, America copied. What if the passage says that America did not copy? Get it? So think about the negative. So that's how it can be false. True is pretty straightforward because this information is going to match in some way. But the not given means it's not there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So America copied or did not copy the idea of national parks from other countries. So we start reading. The topic here, the title says the national parks of America. Okay. We try to keep our question in mind. They copied the idea of national parks from other countries. Try to keep that in mind, okay? So here the first one says America's national parks are one of the country's most remarkable and influential initiatives. That's cool. Nothing there. There's no marker there. It says here, the concept of the national park originated in America, though it was quickly replicated by similar parks in Canada, Finland, New Zealand, Australia, and elsewhere. Well, here we have mention of national parks right here. I'm going to highlight that. So I'm going to right click right here and I'm going to click on highlight. So I have that highlighted so I can come back and look at my question again. America copied the idea of national parks from other countries. And it says here the concept of national park or the national park originated in America. Ooh, so that's false. They didn't copy it from anyone because it says it originated in America. So they came up with it. So the answer is false. They didn't copy it. Get it? So that's how we do that. Now I'm going to leave this part highlighted because I know that I stopped there. When it comes to the true, false, not given, or the yes, no, not given, or to any of the non-matching tasks, we are going to go in order because the answers are going to be in order. But when it comes to matching task types, which are specifically the matching headings and the matching information, only those 2, regardless of what the other ones are called, like matching features, just those 2 tasks, they're not going to be in order. If you join my course, you'll know what I mean. Second question. Yellowstone is the most frequently visited national park in the USA. Straightforward. The markers here would be Yellowstone. Here, how can it be false if the passage says that it was not the most frequently visited national park in the USA. So, okay, continue. The first American national park was Yellowstone. Lo and behold, we found our marker right there. It says here the first American national park was Yellowstone, created in 1872. Yellowstone comprises some 3,500 square miles of wilderness and today attracts more than 4 million visitors a year. Okay, where does it say? Most frequently visited. Did it say anything about being the most frequently visited? Nothing there. Since 1872, nearly 60 additional national parks have been established in the USA, incorporating almost every type of natural environment, from mountains to deserts, lakes, rivers, coastlines. They're administered by the national park. Okay, so we got all the way down here, and they're not talking about Yellowstone anymore. So what's our answer going to be here? Did they negate this? Did they go against it in any way? Nope. Did they say that it was the most frequently visited? Again, no. So in this case, we're just going to say it's not given because it's not there. Okay? It's pretty straightforward. If they say the information in the question, that's cool. We'll just say true. If they don't, or they go against it, they contradict themselves in some way, that'll be false. They did neither of those things, so not given. Moving on to the third question. It says the NPS is responsible for certain buildings as well as natural landscapes. The NPS here, as we can see, it says the National Parks Service. The acronym is NPS. We want to know that they're responsible for certain buildings as well as natural landscapes. So let's continue. Let's go back to this. Since 1872, nearly 60 additional national parks have been established in the USA, incorporating almost every type of natural environment, from mountains to deserts, lakes, rivers, and coastlines. They're administered by the National Park Service. Okay, so they're administered, responsible for certain buildings, well, yeah, which also manages significant monuments and historic structures such as the Statue of Liberty. So they do, yes, these are the certain buildings. So it says here that they manage significant monuments like the historic structures, like the Statue of Liberty, the Gettysburg Museum, and Ford's Theater. And basically, yeah. So the answer is going to be true. So based off of that information, they do actually manage certain buildings, okay, and natural landscapes. So yeah, pretty straightforward there. So yeah, the landscape part, for those of you who are trying to figure it out, here, the natural environments part, that's basically it. Okay. Yeah, straightforward. Moving on, number 4. It says here, that wouldn't be Caitlin, that'd be like Catlin, was criticized by some people for proposing a nation's park. So yeah, let's say Caitlin was criticized by some people for proposing a nation's park. Let's move down. And here we have the creation of we see that the word Catlin or whatever is right there. So the creation of the national parks came in response to a growing attachment to the natural world that was developing in American society. In 1832, the painter George Catlin dreamed of creating a nation's park to preserve the grasslands in the state of South Dakota. So, was he criticized by some people for proposing? Well, we haven't seen any critique of him yet. So let's continue. Catlin failed to see such a park established in his lifetime, but his vision lived on. We don't see anything about that. And the next sentence here, it says Ralph Waldo Emerson. So we've already moved on to the next point. So it's not given. Straightforward. They didn't criticize. They didn't say that he wasn't criticized. Okay? So not given right there. Next, it has Emerson believed that farms and businesses should be allowed to use land freely. Okay, so we should be reading on from here because this is where the Catlin thing was. So we can highlight that so we know it as like a visual marker that we stopped reading there. So back to the question. Emerson believed that farms and businesses should be allowed to use land freely. So did he say that or not? 4 years later, the writer Ralph Waldo Emerson published an important essay entitled Nature, in which he argued that natural landscapes should be protected rather than exploited for agriculture and commerce. So, come back to the question. He believed that farms and businesses should be allowed to. Okay, so in which he argued natural landscapes should be protected rather than exploited. Um, that's basically where our answer is going to be. He believed that farms and businesses should be allowed to use land freely. Did he say that? The writer published an important essay entitled Nature, in which he argued that natural landscapes should be protected rather than exploited. So basically, that's going to be false. He directly said no. They should be protected and not exploited for agriculture or commerce, meaning commerce is like financial gain, you know what I mean, by making money, that sort of thing. And so he said businesses should be allowed, and he said no, they shouldn't be allowed. So that's going to be false. And we can make a visual marker right here by right clicking and putting a highlight so we know we stopped at commerce. Because the questions and the answers are going to be in order within one task type. So if it says here questions 1 to 6, as long as you know where question 1 is, number 2 is always going to be after. It doesn't have to be in the same paragraph, but it's going to be after it. Now, last but not least, we have here Olmsted helped establish a park in the Yosemite Valley. So let's continue. It says here the campaigner Frederick Olmsted went further, claiming that every American, not only the wealthy and powerful, had the right to access places of natural beauty. The creation of a public park in the Yosemite Valley was directly the result of his work. So, he helped establish a park in the Yosemite Valley. Did he do that? It says here, claiming that every American, not only had the right to access place, the creation of a public park in the Yosemite Valley was directly the result of his work. So he did help in establishing, so that would be true, because it was directly, part of his work. So there you go. These are our answers for the first task. This is called an identifying information task, also known as true, false, not given. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to go through the rest of this exam. Take care, have fun. My name is Muhammad Awad, also known as MAIAM The Teacher. If you're ever interested in doing any one-on-one reading practice or any kind of IELTS related courses or classes, I'm your man. Take care, have fun. If you're driving, drive safe. If you're walking, walk safe. Don't forget to smile. Take care. Bye-bye.